And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the final segment of today's show, we are going to talk about the current playoff picture, where the standings are, because a lot happened this weekend. Things changed. And let's get right into that. So let's go take a look at. So I have the graphics up for today. So right now we look at the American League and how it currently stands. So right now you have the Rays at the top. Then you got the Blue Jays at 83 and 67, and then you got the Rangers, who are a half game back. And it's just kind of funny, and just double checking just to make sure I have audio, and I do, which is good, because again, I still get nervous when I'm going to use graphics, because of when I did the private live stream, and I didn't realize that the volume was all the way down. Because that's how the software was. The software was set when I put in new pictures, and I ended up with no audio, so I had to cut that out of. But thankfully, that hasn't happened on here. I did experience some issues with recording the Patreon last week, but I was able to work around that. But yeah, so but that was camera issues actually. Not even audio, but yeah. So again, another tangent going off of, but So you look at the wild card standings for the American League. So that's what you got right there, and then also so behind those teams. So right now the Mariners are on the outside looking in. That's because they had a rough weekend against the Dodgers. So they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. Right now they are currently 1 game out. So it's not like it's insurmountable, but. They definitely had a rough weekend, but yeah, this is another. Now it's with less teams, but this is gonna be kind of a revolving door, as well, where you're gonna have the Blue Jays, the Rangers, and the Mariners just constantly flip flopping. When it comes to those playoffs, those 2 wild card spots. The Yankees are 6.5 games back, so the teams that are still like mathematically in it, you have the Tigers, but. Again, this is mathematically. Tigers, Guardians, Red Sox, and Yankees. Yankees are 6.5 games back. Red Sox are 8.5. Guardians are 10.5. Tigers are 12. But focusing on the 3 teams that you see on the screen and the Mariners, again, it's cut off, but that's what we're focusing on is those teams. So that's what's going on in the American League wild card. The Mariners and the Rangers do play each other again, I believe, and that's going to be really important and something to pay close attention to. So yeah, that's the American League wild card. Then you have the National League wild card. Now this is what I was talking about when I said there's been a seismic shift, because the Cubs have been in that second spot for a while. All of a sudden now, they get swept by the Diamondbacks, and they're actually, and let me double check. They are 2-10 in their last 10 games, and they've lost 5 in a row now. Right now they're tied, and again they're cut off. No disrespect to them, but again I'm still trying to eventually I'll figure it out where I can fit it, but this is the best I can do right now. But the Marlins right now are tied with the Cubs right now for this last wild card spot. Now, Cubs are a half game back. Phillies better be careful, otherwise Diamondbacks could maybe surpass them if they keep playing well. And the Phillies, Phillies are 4-6 in their last 10 games. But you got the Marlins are tied with the Cubs for that last wild card spot. Reds are a half game back. Giants are 2 games back. And I kept saying, like, oh yeah, the Cubs and the Phillies, they're locked. It's really just all about that third wild card spot. Nope. Cubs could find themselves on the outside looking in, which I thought the Cubs were fine, but I guess not. They've really been struggling. So if you're a Cubs fan and you come across this, I'd like to know why is this happening right now? Pitching struggling. Like what? I mean, it seems like it. I mean, Justin Steele took the loss, but like what Like, what's been like the main issue with the Cubs? Because I genuinely would like to know why. Like, this is, because they've had this great stretch, and now all of a sudden they're not playing good right now. And the Diamondbacks are playing great. They're playing great because they heard me. They're like, oh, Kenneth said that we're not making the playoffs this year, so let's go ahead and prove him wrong. That's why I don't like making predictions. I say like, oh, the Rangers might be the team that's on the outside looking in. I like either the Reds or the Marlins to make it. Diamondbacks are in right now. Marlins are tied for that third spot. But yeah, it is. I mean, it is chaotic. It is chaotic what this wild card in both leagues. I mean, the National League is crazier, but both. I mean, it's really going to be crazy down the stretch. So then we'll focus on the divisional races. So right now, the Rays and the Orioles, they split that 4-game series over the weekend. So the Rays right now are 2 games back of the Orioles. Right now, the Orioles' magic number is 11. Blue Jays are 10.5 games back, but they're not going to catch them. But yeah, that's going to come down to the wire. Actually, let's look at the Orioles' remaining schedule here. So they got Houston for 3, Cleveland for 4. These are away games, so they got a 7-game road trip. Then they're home for Washington, 2 games against Washington, and then 4 against Boston. Yeah, that road trip is, especially against the Astros, that's going to be tough. Well, the Astros is going to be tough. The Guardians, yeah, I mean it's going to be close. And then let's look at the Rays schedule here. So they have 3 games against the Angels, which that they should do well. 3 games against the Blue Jays, which could be a little dicey. 2 against the Red Sox in Fenway, and then 3 in Toronto against the Blue Jays to close out the year. So right now, I kind of like the Orioles' schedule better, slightly. I mean, because the 6 games against Toronto is going to be tough. The Orioles should be able to handle the Guardians, Boston, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. So that's the AL East. Then you look at the Central. Twins' magic number right now is 6. They're eventually gonna get it at some point later this week, maybe. Right now, the AL West, chaotic division. Astros are 84-66. Right now, they're a game and a half up on the Rangers, and the Mariners are 2.5 games back. So right now, the Astros' magic number is 12. But I think they're gonna. I think the Astros are gonna take it, but barring a collapse. Braves, they clinched the NL East, so we touched upon that. And and they're most likely going to get home field. Dodgers can still catch them, but it's it's going to be kind of tough at this point. The Brewers right now 6.5 games up on the Cubs. So we talked about that final series being a huge series that could determine that division. Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Right now, the Brewers, their magic number is 7 right now. So it looks like they're gonna take the division. And it would have been a lot of fun. But now the Cubs might still need that series at the end for the wild card. So, but the Brewers might have that division all wrapped up. Dodgers, they clinched the NL West, so they're all good, which you kind of figured was going to happen. I mean, I did a parlay with the Padres winning the division, and that didn't happen. It didn't happen, which is disappointing. I almost said depressing. It's not really depressing. It's disappointing. But yeah, that's basically the updated standings, current playoff picture as presently constructed, and it's just gonna keep changing. It's gonna keep changing. So we'll be talking about it up until basically October 1st when the season ends. It's basically going to be a part of the show every single day until we get to that point. So, but yeah, this is actually the first full week for me doing shows live, not private. Streams are public. So, and hopefully you guys, join the streams and leave comments and, you know, give me your thoughts on what's going on in the season. Any questions that you may have for me, I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I want to answer as much comments as I possibly can. So, but yeah, this is the first full week of shows for me because Monday I didn't do a show because I was in Massachusetts for my cousin's wedding. So did shows Tuesday through Friday. Got the full week, and that's how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. And I look forward to it. Started this at the right time because playoffs are going to be here before you know it. So I'm really looking forward to it. And today's only Monday, but the weeks, I mean, they go so fast. And I mentioned this before. We started out doing 30-minute shows, then 45, and then you get to an hour, and it still goes really fast. And and today, just talk about today on its own. Today's going to be a long day for me. So this is the second part of my day, and then later tonight is the third. Gonna be in New York City again. But the football game tonight, there's two of them. Monday Night Football doubleheader. So it's gonna be a late night. It's gonna be a long day, but we're doing good. We're doing good, and I was able to keep myself awake because I had an early morning, So, but yeah, that's basically the show for today. Touched upon a lot. Basically what we normally do, the headlines and scores, recaps, standings, and the Ohtani stuff is a big deal. Tomorrow it's going to be the same thing. We'll touch upon some other stuff. I don't have the show planned out entirely for tomorrow, but right now the structure of the show is kind of the same. Just news that comes out. The recaps, the standings, and the thing is with like the playoffs, everything is always changing, so that's why it's important to stay on top of that, because it might be one way one night and then be different the next. I mean, you see how the weekend is. I mean, now the Diamondbacks are in the second wild card spot. So, so that's basically kind of the structure of the show. And then you got like a segment dedicated to one particular topic. So, but obviously in the coming weeks, it's going to be a lot different in the coming months, because, you're going to have, there's going to be no games. I mean, the season's going to be over and there's going to be like, what do I talk about? So, we got a lot of planning to do, but we got a while. We still got the whole month of the postseason. So once we cross that bridge, when we get there, we'll figure it out. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the show for today. I thank you guys for watching, for listening, however you are taking in this content. I appreciate it. And we'll be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 12 o'clock. And then obviously I'm going to go and record the Patreon as well. So I thank you for listening, or thank you for watching, for joining. GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, please subscribe and leave a favorable comment. We appreciate it. And once again, for exclusive content, visit our Patreon. And I went over that a couple times over the course of the show. And then stay connected with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So, with that being said, until next time, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off. Have a good day. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.